welcome back to income tax class. So last week I have given you one test. I asked you to attend the test. Almost 14-15 questions I gave in the test, and I asked you to submit the answers. Okay, we will discuss that question paper before we move to our third unit. Okay, you can see first question is Income Tax Act was passed in the year. 4 options are given: 1934, 1956, 1961, 1975. In the first class itself I mentioned Income Tax Act was passed in the year 1961. Is there any doubt in this one? Income Tax Act was enacted, was passed in the year 1961. But it came into force with effect from 1st April 1962. In the previous videos you can see it in the first video or second video. I have mentioned it clearly. Income Tax Act was passed in the year 1961, but it came into force on 1st April 1962. Is there any doubt in this one?
No, sir.
No. Okay, right. Come to the third question that is given. The income tax is as you all know, taxes are classified as direct taxes and indirect taxes. Okay, for the time being, for our discussion point of view, the direct tax is a tax in which the assessee will pay directly to the government without any support of the broker or agent, without any mediator's support. Directly he will pay. See, so income tax is a direct tax because no brokers are involved. Directly a person, directly the assessee will make the payment to the government. Is there any doubt in this one? Yes, any doubt? Next, there are how many heads of income? Several times I mentioned. I
5 heads, sir.
remember those 5 heads also. I asked every student in the class. Okay, what are the heads? Can anybody say? Income from?
Salaries.
Income from salaries. Very good. Second one, income from
House property.
Very good. Income from house property. Third head.
Profits and gains of business or profession.
Very good. Profits
Salary.
or gains of a business or profession. Next.
Capital gains.
Income from capital gains. Very good. Last one.
Income from other sources.
Very good. Income from other sources. Those are the 5 heads of income. Okay. So that is the fourth question. How many heads of income are there? Now section 2 of 9 of income tax deals with assessment year. In the previous videos it is clearly mentioned. The sections also I mentioned in my definitions. We have discussed various definitions like assessment year, previous year, assessee, person, like that. In that one assessment year came. I mentioned the section also. You can cross check, you can verify. Okay. Next one. Assessment year is the period of 12 months commencing from, what is that period? From 1st April onwards. It will start with 1st April. See, any assessment year or any previous year will be from 1st April to 31st March. I mentioned it. So it will commence means it will start with 1st April. It will end on 31st March. Is it clear or is there any doubt? Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, very good. Next question. As per Income Tax Act, see, in my definition of person, I clearly mentioned person. See, in our daily life, our definition, person means a human being, that's all, a single person, a live person. But according to income tax, person means individuals like me and you, or you and me. HUF means Hindu undivided family, or local authority. Local authority means it may be Gram Panchayat, Nagar Panchayat, municipality, corporation, municipal corporation, like that. So all these are included in the definition of person as per Income Tax Act. Okay. Is there any doubt in this one?
No, sir.
Okay. Next one. To be an ordinary resident in India, an individual must satisfy. See, you verify the conditions once again. One base out of the two basic conditions, one basic condition a person should fulfill, and then means ordinary resident, and the two additional conditions have to be fulfilled. Only then a person will be termed as ordinary resident. Otherwise, a person will be termed as resident but not ordinary resident. If suppose a person has satisfied only one basic condition, and both the additional conditions, only one condition he is satisfied, in that case you will call that person as only resident but not ordinary resident. If a person does not satisfy any condition, any basic condition, then what will you call him? He does not satisfy any basic conditions. Then what will you call him? He is a non-resident. Okay, you need not verify additional conditions. That is what I mentioned. Is it clear? Next question. A citizen of India who goes abroad for the purpose of employment, he must stay in India in the previous year for at least, how many days I mentioned? 182 days. But 182 days means it is half the period of a year. In a year you will have 364 days. Half of it is 182 days. But since 2020, this has been changed as 120 days. Please remember. Okay, but in this question it is given as 182 days is given. So as per the before modification, this is applicable. That is why I mentioned it is 182 days. Okay. Next one. Who is SSC in case of a Hindu undivided family? Hindu undivided family. See, Karta is the SSC in case of Hindu undivided family. Who is Karta?
Karta is the head of the undivided families.
Very good. Head means what head? He is the male, eldest male person in the family is known as Karta. So he is responsible for paying tax. He is responsible for paying penalty. He is responsible for paying interest. So he is known as Karta. See, co-partners means all the persons, all the male members who have a right in the family property are known as co-partners. Means, see, he is the head of the family. He is Karta. Okay. For him, 3 sons are there. Let us take for example, 3 sons are there. These are all co-partners. You will call them as co-partners. But who is responsible for paying the tax? Karta is responsible for paying the tax. Karta is the SSC according to Income Tax Act. Okay. Deemed Karta means on behalf of him somebody will act. But the term is not there. He is not, even though Karta may appoint anybody to pay income tax or to work on behalf of the family, but ultimately Karta will be held responsible. Okay. See, if I do not teach well in the class, you may complain. Ultimately, who is going to be held responsible? The principal is going to be held responsible. If anything goes bad in the college, outsiders will come, administrators will come, and they will question the principal. See, if a teacher is not teaching properly, what you are doing? Similarly, in a family, there may be several members. There may be several male members or female members. But ultimately, Income Tax Department will question the Karta. So he is the SSC according to Income Tax Act. Is it clear or is there any doubt? Is it clear? Is there any doubt?
No, sir.
Dividend from an Indian company is, see, Indian company means which is registered in India as per income as per Companies Act. When is Companies Act enacted in our country? Companies Act was enacted in which year? Yes, please. Companies Act was passed in which year? Was enacted in our country in which year? Originally, you have to remember it. Originally, in 1956, Companies Act was passed. Recently, in the year 2013, latest Companies Act was passed. You have to remember these 2 years. So, whenever a person, a shareholder receives dividend from a company, from an Indian company implies which is registered as per Indian Companies Act. So if any person receives, any assessee receives dividend from Indian company, dividend means a shareholder's return. See, I have given 100 rupees to an Indian company as a shareholder. This is my share value. On this share, this is my investment. This is the capital given to the company by me. So a particular year company gave me 20 rupees. This is my dividend. This is my return on the share. My share in the profit of the company. This is known as the dividend. So as per Income Tax Act, any dividend received from an Indian company is fully exempted. There is no tax on dividend received from an Indian company. Is it clear? Is there any doubt regarding what is the term dividend means? What is Indian company? Is there any doubt? Yes, please. Is there any doubt in anybody's mind?
No, sir.
Okay, right. Next, canons of taxation. Several times I told it was originally propounded by Adam Smith. His famous book also I mentioned. What is his famous book? Wealth of Nations. In which year? In which year the book was published? Yes, please. 1776. I mentioned clearly. Is it correct? Am I correct? Or am I mistaken? Okay, is it correct? Am I correct or am I mistaken? Yes, please, somebody should respond. Adam Smith wrote a famous book, Wealth of Nations. Is it in 1776 only? Am I correct?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Right. Next one. Previous year means the financial year immediately preceding means it comes before. It comes before assessment year. See, I clearly mentioned 1819 is the previous year means its assessment year is 1920. Okay. So previous year means that this is the previous year means the financial year immediately preceding the assessment year. This is known as assessment year. This is known as previous year I mentioned. Okay. You can verify again also if you have any doubt. Income received in India is taxable in the hands of resident and ordinary resident only. Income received in India is taxable in the hands of all assessees, not resident and ordinary resident only. Okay, if not resident and ordinary resident, not non-resident, all assessee have to pay, whether he is a normal resident, whether he is a resident and ordinary resident, whether he is a non-resident, everybody has to pay income tax on the income received in India. That is why even for we are assessing for even non-resident also we are calculating. That is the reason. If the income is received in India, everybody has to pay tax. All assessees, irrespective of their residential status, all have to pay tax. Is it clear? Residential status of an assessee can be different for different assessment years. See, this year I may stay in our country. Next year I may go to foreign country for some days. This year I am an ordinary resident. Next year I may be a resident but not ordinary resident because I went to foreign country for 10 months. For the next assessment year I may not be normal resident, ordinarily resident. Did you understand? So residential status of an assessee can change every year. It will change just like our age. Okay. Next one. Profits earned from illegal businesses are also taxable. Please remember. See, if I export ganjai or brown sugar or any drugs which are banned in our country, that what I am doing is I am involved in illegal business. But income tax department tax me for doing my illegal business also. In the previous classes I clearly mentioned it. Whether a person is doing illegal business or legal business, income tax department will not care. If income is there, they will collect income tax, that's all. Okay. So these are the questions. These are the answers. If at all any doubt is there, you can raise. Is it clear, my dear students?
Yes, sir.
There are no doubts, no further doubts, no? Okay. So completed first unit in our income tax, that is introduction to income tax. So what is tax? What is the purpose? What is the importance of income tax? How many taxes are there? Everything we discussed. Okay, residential status, what is residential status, various fundamental concepts, that is assessment year, previous year, SSC, person, all those things we discussed in the first unit. Okay, second unit is income from salaries, and third unit is income from house property. So I will start income from house property. See, what is income from house property? What is house actually? What is house? What is property? Yes. What is house? What is property? What do you mean by house? Yes, what is house? You are staying in house, but you do not know what a house means. What is the meaning of house? Yes, please, somebody should respond. What are you doing in house? For what purpose house is used?
Living, sir.
Okay, very good. House is used for living purpose. Then what is the meaning of house? House is used for living. Okay, fine. What do you mean by house? In simple terms, it is home, no? It is a place of living, where you live. After your work is over, after your studies are over, you stay there. It is a place of your stay. Okay, that is what you mean by saying house. What is property? This is my property, I will tell. See, this book is my property, I will tell. This is income tax book. This is my property, I will tell. What do you mean by property?
Asset, sir.
Very good. It means asset. Property means asset. So income from house property is going to be there. See, some out of the 300 students who are there in our class, some will live in their own houses, some will live in their rental houses. Is it correct? Am I correct? Everybody may not be having own house. Am I correct?
Yes, sir.
So house can be of two types. See, when you may have a house for your own purpose, you do not have any second house to give on rent basis to anybody else. But in some cases, persons may be having more than one house, or a single house is there. See, suppose let us take for example, a person has two houses, one in Khammam, one in Kottagudem, but due to employment reason, he went to Hyderabad and he is working in Hyderabad. So what he will do? The Khammam house also he will give for rent. Kottagudem house also he will give for rent. Whereas he will stay in a rented house in Hyderabad. So in such purpose, in such a case, he has to pay tax because he is receiving income from house property. Whatever house that he has, he is generating, that house is generating income for him. So that assessee is responsible, he will be held responsible for paying the tax. Is it clear? Did you understand the concept of income from house property? See, in this third unit, this is the syllabus pertaining to third unit. Are you able to see this syllabus clearly? Definition of house property. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Exempted house property incomes, annual value, determination of annual value for let out house and self-occupied house. See, if you are staying in your own house, that is self-occupied house. If you give it to somebody else for rent, that is known as let out house. Okay, let out means given for rent basis. On rent basis, you gave it to, you let it out to somebody else. Okay, self-occupied means you are only staying in your house. So in such a case, it does not generate any income. There is no question of generation of income in such a case. Self-occupied house means, but let out house means you have given it for rent and you are going to receive certain income and you have to pay for it. Okay, so deductions under section 24 in the computation of total income, I mentioned in the table, I mentioned for income from house property, deductions will be there under section 24. You have to pronounce as under section 24, but not U by S 24. You should not pronounce deductions under section 24. Then, and certain problems we will see, some problems we will solve as to how to compute income from house property. So this is a very, very important chapter. Why it is important means this is very easily calculable for you. You can easily calculate. It is the easiest problem in the income tax. As per our syllabus, you can easily solve problems from this chapter, from income from house property. This is very, very small chapter, easily solvable chapter. Problems can be solved easily, very easily by you. Did you understand? From this chapter, you have to solve problems also. Okay. So types of house properties, you can see type of house properties: self-occupied house and let out house. Self-occupied means you are not going to receive any income. You are only staying in your house. Whereas let out means you gave for rent and you will receive income and you have to pay tax on that income. Did you understand? Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Houses can be of two types: self-occupied house and let out house. On let out house, you are going to receive income. Income will be generated and you have to pay tax provided the income is more than the prescribed limit in the Income Tax Act. Okay. This table everybody should note down. Everybody should be able to write this table without the help of previous notes. You should be able to draw this table on your own. How you are going to calculate income from house property? First of all, you should calculate gross annual value. In a bracket, you write GAV, means gross annual value. This has to be calculated. This is the most important step in calculation of income from house property. How to calculate gross annual value, I will tell you in the next class. But first step is GAV, calculation of GAV. From that one, you have to deduct, you have to less municipal taxes. You have to deduct municipal taxes from that one. Okay. Then from GAV, if you deduct municipal taxes, net annual value will come. It's just like in a profit and loss account, you must have done trading account, profit and loss account. From gross profit, you deduct certain expenditure, you deduct certain losses. and you will get net profit. Similarly, from gross annual value, you will deduct municipal taxes paid by you, you will get net annual value. Okay. So after from that value, under section 24, certain deductions are going to be allowed. You are going to deduct them. So they are, see, whatever value that comes here, out of this value, 30% is allowed as standard deduction. Standard deduction. Okay. Standard deduction means in every problem it is going to be there. Whatever value that comes here from this one, 30% of the value you are going to allow as deduction. Similarly, next one is interest on borrowed capital. For your house construction, you may borrow certain amount from others. On that one you have to pay interest. That amount will be allowed as deduction. And lastly, if any pre-construction interest is there, pre-construction period means before constructing the house, you must have taken the capital from your friends or from banks or from any other financial source that you have. So on that amount also, on that interest also, 1/5 of that interest will be allowed as deduction. 1/5 of the interest, pre-construction period interest will be allowed. Okay, before constructing the house, okay, it will be appearing in the problems in very less number. But you should remember these 2 points very importantly. Under section 24, 30% of the net value will be allowed as deduction, and interest on borrowed capital will also be allowed as deduction. Okay. So whatever amount that you are going to get, that is income from house property. In the whole problem, important one is in working notes you should calculate gross annual value. How it comes? We will do the problems from the next period onwards. Is it clear? Did you understand? This table should be there in everybody's notes. In everybody's notes, this table should be there. From tomorrow onwards, we have to join the class with camera. With camera, you have to join the class. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Are you able to see the screen now?
Yes, sir.
Now you note down this pro forma. This is pro forma. How to calculate income from house property. Okay, in the next class, we will meet. Okay, we will meet in the next class as the time is running out. So today, what we have discussed? What is house? What is property? We have discussed this. I mentioned income from salaries, and second head is income from house property. So how to calculate income from house property we will discuss in this third unit. Okay, houses can be of 2 types. Can be used in 2 types. One is self-occupied house. Second one is let-out house. In case of let-out house, this is the procedure of calculating income from your let-out house property. I hope you understood. You note down this pro forma. You read it. Everybody should be able to write this pro forma without looking into their notes, previous notes, that means. Okay. Thank you, dear students. I am ending the meeting. In the next class we will meet again.